Hey, sleepy listener. Welcome to Sleeping Podcast. Where in the world are you listening from? Let us know in the comments. And if you're ready to drift off, like and subscribe. And let's begin.
Hello there, and welcome. I'm so glad you've joined me this evening, or perhaps this night, as you settle into rest. Wherever you are listening, I invite you now to gently close your eyes, to allow your breathing to soften, and to let this journey become a companion to your sleep. Tonight, we will travel slowly through a question that rests at the edge of imagination and possibility, a question that invites us to dream beyond the familiar paths of history. The question is this: what if Earth's very first civilization was not human? Let the words arrive gently, like ripples across still water. No urgency, no rush, only quiet wonder. We are not here to solve a mystery, nor to argue, nor to uncover absolute truths. We are here simply to imagine, together, in the soft space between waking and dreaming. Take another slow breath in and let it go. The room around you fades into stillness. The world becomes quiet, and the story begins. Imagine for a moment the earth, not as we know it today, but as it was long before us, before cities and roads, before villages, even before language was shaped by human tongues. The earth itself was already ancient. Oceans stretched in endless shades of blue. Mountains lifted their peaks toward skies filled with strange stars. Forests whispered in winds we will never fully know. In this ancient world, it is easy to imagine that life found its own ways of becoming organized, connected, and intelligent. That perhaps, long before we walked upright, there were civilizations of another kind, civilizations not built by human hands, but by the quiet labor of nature's other children. And so, as you listen, picture the possibility. What if the first civilization on Earth rose not from humans, but from the sea, from the forest, from the winds and the stones? What if intelligence taken root differently? What if memory, architecture, language, and story belonged once to creatures who are now gone, or perhaps still here, unnoticed in their subtle ways? This is not history as written in books. This is not archaeology as we know it. This is a journey of imagination, a slow wandering into the soft spaces of what if. As you rest, pump yourself to drift with me. We will move gently, step by step, through 18 chapters. Each one will open a doorway into a new vision of the world. We will begin with the seas, where life itself was first born. We will drift then into forests, listening to the ancient languages of trees. We will imagine civilizations of light, of wind, of stone, and of stars. We will linger with creatures vast and small, noticing how life has always sought to connect dot. And all the while, the pace will remain soft, unhurried, calm, like a train moving slowly under the moon, carrying you deeper into rest. Take another long breath now. Feel your body becoming heavier, more still. The day is behind you. This story will carry you gently forward. Civilization, as we usually define it, is the coming together of beings in shared purpose. It is language, memory, architecture, and culture. But what if we broaden that meaning? What if we allow the word to stretch, to soften, to take on forms less familiar? What if a coral reef, endlessly expanding in brilliant geometry, is itself a kind of civilization? What if a forest, exchanging whispers through its roots, is another? What if the stars, with their patient patterns of light, have always been speaking, and we have only just begun to hear? The question is not about proof. The question is about wonder. And wonder, like a soft current of air, is what will carry us through tonight. As you listen, you may find your thoughts drifting. That is perfectly fine. Perhaps you will remember dreams from long ago. Perhaps you will simply drift into sleep before the story is complete. That is the gift of a bedtime documentary. It is not a lecture, not a test of attention, but a gentle companion for your rest. And so, as we begin, I invite you to let go of the day, to allow your body to sink deeper into stillness, to let your mind open like a calm horizon. This is not a story of endings. This is a story of endless beginnings. And so we start with the sea. For the sea is the oldest memory of Earth. Its tides were the first rhythm. Its waves were the first voices. Its depths may have been the first cradle of civilization. What if, long before our ancestors shaped tools from stone, there were beings in the ocean, weaving cities from coral, sharing knowledge through song, charting time by the moon and tide? It is here, in the slow, swaying blue of the ocean, that our journey will first unfold. Take one last deep breath with me now. In and out, the sea is waiting. The story is beginning, and you are safe. And so, our journey begins in water, the oldest element of life on Earth. The place where every story of being seems to return. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the ocean as it was millions of years ago. Not yet touched by ships or ports, not yet mapped or named. Only vast, endless blue, waves rolling in rhythms older than memory. Tides rising and falling beneath the pull of a moon still new to its orbit. The sea, in its depth and silence, is both origin and mystery. And if the first civilization of Earth was not human, perhaps it began here. Picture, if you will, a city not of stone, but of coral. These structures growing outward in spirals and towers, shaped not by hands, but by time and tide. Walls glowing with colors rose, ivory and soft violet shimmering in the filtered light. This city would not rise quickly. It would grow slowly, patiently, each tiny architect building its part, unaware of the whole. And yet, taken together, the reef becomes something vast, intricate, alive. Perhaps this is civilization, not measured in speed, but in persistence, not built with noise, but with silence. Now listen closely, as if leaning your ear toward the water. For within the sea, there are voices, not spoken in words we know, but sung in vibrations, carried far through liquid darkness. The whales, great travelers of the deep, are storytellers of the oceans. Their songs stretch for miles, unfolding in repeating patterns, shifting with the years. Could it be that long before our languages were shaped, the whales had their own a shared memory, passed not in stone tablets, but in sound waves? A language that does not stay fixed, but changes, adapts, evolves, like the sea itself. If so, perhaps their songs were not just calls, not just instinct, but the voices of a civilization. Imagine for a moment the gatherings of these great beings, not in halls, but in wide circles beneath the waves, each one carrying knowledge of migration, of currents, of hidden feeding grounds, and sharing it through tone, through melody, through rhythm. Generations learning not from books, but from the endless repetition of song. This too could be a form of architecture, not made of stone, but of memory. A civilization built not on land, but on sound. And in the shallows, nearer the surface, another kind of community unfolds. The dolphins, the curious wanderers, moving together in pods, weaving through reefs and currents. They play, they teach, they protect. Their clicks and whistles are complex, layered, almost like names, almost like greetings. Perhaps in their laughter, their leaps, and their shared hunts lies the shape of a culture. Perhaps their civilization was one of joy, of movement, of connection, not written in monuments, but lived in companionship. The sea itself could be seen as a vast city. Its currents are roads. Its schools of fish are neighborhoods. Its reefs are palaces of color and shelter. Its tides mark the hours. Its moonlit reflections, the seasons. If civilization means order, rhythm, shared life, then the ocean has always held the first. And so, as we drift here, let us imagine what life might have been like in that civilization of the seas. Picture yourself gliding through warm, clear water. Around you, towers of coral rise like cathedrals. Schools of silver fish turn together in perfect unison, like dancers in a vast performance. Whales sing in the distance, their low voices echoing like the sound of bells. Dolphins dart past, weaving through beams of light. There are no walls here, no need for doors or keys. The city is open, endless, alive. Perhaps this was the first great culture of Earth, a civilization that needed no fire, no tools, no conquest. Be civilization that thrived in balance with the water, not apart from it. When we think of beginnings, we often think of humans. But what if the true beginning belongs to the sea, to the coral, the whale, the dolphin, the endless tides? What if memory itself is older than we imagine? Breathe slowly now, as though breathing with the ocean itself. In and out, the rise and fall of your breath is like the tide, calm, steady, endless. As we drift deeper into this vision, the waters grow darker, quieter, the sun fades, and with it, the bright colors of coral. We descend now into the twilight zone, where strange creatures glow with their own light. Lanternfish, jellyfish, delicate beings that shimmer with blue and green sparks. This too could be a civilization one of light. Beings who speak through radiance, who map their world not with words, but with pulses of color. Perhaps here, in the silent dark, another language is spoken, one that we cannot hear, only glimpse. And so, the sea is not a single civilization, but many. The corals with their patient architecture, the whales with their memory songs, the dolphins with their laughter and play, the glowing ones with their silent signals of light. Together, they form a chorus, a harmony of existence, a world as vast, by and intricate as any city of humans. And perhaps, if we listen closely, we can still hear it. For the ocean has never stopped singing. Its civilizations are not lost. They are still here, still alive, still moving in waves and whispers all around. Thus and now, gently, we will leave the water. Not suddenly, not harshly, but like a tide pulling us slowly toward shore. The sea will always remain behind us, vast and eternal. But ahead, another kind of life waits. Another civilization, just as ancient, just as mysterious. It is the civilization of trees. Their language is slower still, their memory longer, their voices quieter than even the waves. And so, as we rise from the sea, we will drift softly into the forest and listen to the whispers of leaves, the murmurs of roots, the secret language of trees. Asterisk from the sea, we rise gently onto land. The water recedes, the sound of waves softens, and in its place, another sound begins. A quiet rustling, the hush of wind moving through leaves, the low groan of branches swaying, the faint crackle of twigs beneath invisible footsteps. We have entered the forest. Close your eyes now, and picture yourself standing in a vast woodland. The trees stretch upward, tall and still. Some are thin, bending like reeds. Others are ancient, with trunks wide enough to hold the memory of centuries. Above, the canopy weaves a roof of green, broken only by shafts of golden sunlight. Below, roots twist like rivers, hidden beneath moss and soil. It feels quiet here, but listen closely, and you begin to sense a deeper truth. The forest is not silent, it is speaking. Scientists today have found that trees share information through networks of roots, fungi, and subtle signals. They send messages to one another. A tree under stress can send out a warning. A tree in need can receive nourishment from its neighbors. It is as though the forest is not many individuals, but one vast connected being. And so we might ask, could this be a kind of civilization? A society of trees, bound not by speech or cities, but by roots and rhythms. Imagine, if you will, a tree as more than a single life. Imagine it as a library. Each ring within the trunk is a page, recording the memory of a year. Seasons of drought, seasons of rain, seasons of fire and renewal. Every tree holds an archive of the earth's past. And when the forest stands together, it is as though countless libraries are linked, sharing their knowledge across generations. If this is not civilization, what is? Perhaps, long before humans gathered in villages, the trees had their own gatherings. Not meetings in words, but meetings in silence. When a storm threatened, they bent together. When a fire passed, they rose again together. When seeds scattered, they found new places to root and grow. Each action, slow and deliberate, was part of a greater pattern. A civilization not of hurry, but of patience. Picture yourself walking deeper now. The air is cooler, shaded by layers, full of leaves. The light grows softer, dappled by shifting branches. You hear birds, insects, perhaps the faint trickle of water. Everywhere there is life, but all of it flows from the trees. The forest feels like a temple, and the trees, the silent guardians of wisdom. Perhaps their language is not only chemical, not only physical, but something subtler. The creak of a branch, the fall of a leaf, the sway of a trunk in the breeze. If we could slow down enough, quiet ourselves enough, perhaps we would hear it. Conversation not in minutes or hours, but in centuries. A tree may speak not to us, but to the generations yet to come. It grows, it holds, it waits. A different rhythm of life, a different kind of time. And what of the oldest trees? The redwoods, the sequoias, the ancient olive trees, thousands of years old. They have stood through empires rising and falling. They have seen skies clear and darken, climates shift, seasons turn endlessly. To stand near them is to stand near the memory of Earth itself. Perhaps these elders are the leaders of the forest, pre-civilizations, silent rulers, not in command, but in endurance, not telling others what to do, but holding the space for everything else to grow. In many cultures, humans have long imagined the forest as alive with spirit. Sacred groves, world, trees, divine roots connecting heaven and earth. Maybe these were not just stories. Maybe they were glimpses of a truth humans could feel but not name. That the trees already held a civilization, older and steadier than our own. Now, breathe with the forest, in and out. Notice how your breath feels like wind moving through branches. Notice how your chest rises and falls like the gentle sway of a tree. You are part of this rhythm too. And as you breathe, picture the network beneath the soil. A vast web, unseen, stretching for miles. Roots intertwined with fungi, passing signals, sharing sustenance. A hidden city beneath the ground. Invisible, but alive. Perhaps this is their marketplace, their library, their council hall, a place of constant exchange, constant sharing. A civilization beneath our feet, too quiet for most to notice. As the forest deepens, the light grows dimmer, softer. Evening approaches. The calls of birds change. The air cools, and in this twilight the forest seems to hum, as though the trees themselves are singing a slow, wordless song, not to be heard with ears, but to be felt in the body. A calm, steady presence, an ancient language spoken in silence. So we leave the forest, now carrying its calm with us. We step gently out of the shade, into the open fields beyond. The trees remain behind, whispering to one another, their voices continuing in the wind. Ahead, the land stretches wide and open. Grasses bend, rivers shine, hills roll into distance, and above, endless sky. It is here in the open spaces that another civilization may be found, not of trees, nor of seas, but of air itself. The civilization of the winds and the sky. Asterisk from the stillness of the forest, we step into the open air. The trees fall away behind us, and suddenly the horizon opens wide. Dot above, an endless sky stretches in every direction. Blue by day, silver by dusk, deep velvet by night. The clouds drift slowly, like great ships sailing across a celestial ocean. The wind brushes against our skin, soft and cool. It is here, in this vast expanse, that we begin to wonder, could there be a civilization of the air? A culture born not of earth or sea, but of sky and wind. The air is not empty. It is alive, always moving. Currents rise and fall, weaving across continents. Breath exhaled in one place may, in time, travel across oceans, carrying traces of distant lands. Dust from deserts drifts into forests far away. Seeds float, riding invisible pathways to new homes. In this way, the air connects all life. It is the messenger of the planet, and perhaps the first great civilization of movement. Picture for a moment the migrations of birds, vast flocks sweeping across the skies in perfect unison, patterns shifting and swirling like living clouds, each wingbeat aligned with the others, as though following an invisible music. How do they know where to go? How do they turn together, never colliding, always flowing as one? Perhaps this too is a form of culture, not spoken, not written, but lived through instinct and memory. A civilization of flight, bound by the great highways of the wind, high above. Cranes and geese travel across continents, guided by the stars and the seasons. Closer to the surface, swallows dart and weave, stitching invisible threads of air with their movements, spray even higher, almost at the edge of space. Tiny insects drift on jet streams, carried farther than we can see. Each of them belongs to this great aerial society. Each of them contributes to the rhythm of the sky. And then there are the winds themselves, invisible yet powerful. They shape landscapes, carve canyons, carry rains, and feed fires. They whisper softly through grass. They howl across mountains. They sigh against windows at night. Could we not think of them as voices, a language without words, but full of meaning? The gentle breeze may soothe. The strong gust may warn. The shifting currents may guide the migrations of countless lives. If the sea is the cradle of life, and the forest the library of memory, then perhaps the air is the messenger, the song, the voice of earth itself. Now, imagine a civilization made entirely of wind. No walls, No ground, no need for shelter. Only movement, only flow. Its citizens would be currents and breezes, gusts and gales. Their cities would be clouds, drifting towers of white and silver. Their time would be marked not by clocks, but by seasons and cycles of air. Perhaps they would share stories not in words, but in patterns of movement. A storm rolling, tear across the plains, could be seen as a declaration. A soft spring breeze could be a greeting, sipped the shifting of monsoons. The grand turning of the jet streams might be their calendar, their gathering, their great ceremonies. In this civilization of the sky, the clouds themselves would be the monuments. Imagine them rising like palaces of vapor, glowing gold at sunrise, crimson at dusk. They change constantly, never fixed, always moving. And yet, for those who know how to read them, clouds carry meaning. They foretell rain. They warn of storms. They reveal the breadth of the world. Could this not be architecture? A living skyline, always built anew, always dissolving, yet endlessly returning. Close your eyes for a moment and feel the air around you. It is easy to forget that we live always within it. Breath by breath, the sky is within us. Every inhale brings a piece of the world inside. Every exhale returns it. In this way, we are all citizens of the aerial civilization. We share in the breath of mountains, forests, seas. We are part of the wind's journey, even when we do not notice it. At night, the air grows cooler, the winds soften, and the sky fills with stars. Birds who travel by day rest, while those who navigate by night take flight, guided by constellations. Owls glide silently between branches, their wings moving soundlessly through the dark. Bats scatter like whispers, weaving unseen paths in the air. The civilization of the sky does not sleep. It only shifts from day to night, from songbird to owl, from sunlit current to moonlit breeze. Imagine now drifting higher, above the trees, above the hills, above the clouds. The air grows thinner, colder, clearer. Below, the land stretches, vast and dark. Above, the stars blaze in endless silence. From this height, the civilization of the sky feels infinite. Its movements are vast, its memory long. For winds have circled the earth for millions of years. They have carried the breath of dinosaurs, the dust of glaciers, the pollen of ancient flowers. The air you breathe now has been breathed countless times before. Is that not a history? Is that not a civilization of its own? And now, gently, we will descend again. The stars above remain. The winds continue their journey. But we return softly, slowly, to the earth below. Ahead lies another ancient form of civilization. Not of water, not of trees, not of winds, but of stone. For the rocks, the mountains, the very bones of the earth may hold their own kind of memory, their own quiet, enduring culture. And so, our next step will be into the civilization of stone. Solid, patient, eternal. Asterisk, the air softens around us now. The winds fading into stillness. Ahead, the horizon begins to rise. Hills become slopes, slopes become cliffs, cliffs become mountains. The earth lifts itself upward, reaching toward the sky. We are entering the realm of stone, a world not of quick movement or fleeting sound, but of patience, of deep time. Close your eyes and imagine standing before a mountain. Its peak vanishes into mist. Its sides are marked with ridges, carved by rivers and glaciers long gone. The air here is cool, quiet, still. You feel small, yet somehow connected, as though the mountain itself is aware of your presence. This is not emptiness. This is a civilization, one that moves too slowly for us to see. Consider for a moment what stone truly is. Layers upon layers of memory, sediments pressed over millions of years, fossils captured in time, whispers of creatures long vanished. Each rock is a page in a book that Earth has been writing since the beginning. If civilization is the keeping of records, then stone is the oldest library. If civilization is the building of monuments, then mountains are the first dot. Now imagine the mountains speaking to one another, not in sound, not in language as we know it, but in the patient shifting of tectonic plates, the slow grinding of valleys, the rising and falling of peaks. Over centuries, their conversations shape the land itself. One mountain lifts another, erodes, a river cuts between them. Together they form ranges, families, chains that span continents. Could we not see this as a society, a gathering of giants, speaking in the language of stone? And within these mountains are caves, vast hidden chambers, carved by water and time. Step inside one with me now. The air is cool, echoing. Stalactites hang like ancient chandeliers. Stalagmites rise like pillars, slow-growing monuments built drip by drip. Each one takes centuries to form, yet together they create halls of breathtaking beauty. This too is architecture, not human-made, but earth-made. A cathedral of stone, older than any temple. In some places, mountains hold crystals, quartz, amethyst, jade, shimmering treasures formed in silence. These crystals grow slowly, patiently, within the earth's deep chambers. Each one is unique, shaped by pressure, heat, and time. Could we see them as art, a kind of creativity expressed through mineral and light? If so, then the civilization of stone has always been an artist, working quietly beneath our feet. Now, picture the deserts, endless landscapes of rock and sand, carved by wind into arches, pillars, and canyons. Here, the stones seem to stand like sentinels, guarding the silence. Their shapes are strange, otherworldly, yet full of presence. Perhaps these formations are monuments of the stone civilization, not built for us, not even built for purpose, but still holding meaning, still shaping the world around them. And what of mountains that once breathed fire? Volcanoes, whose eruptions reshape the land in moments. Though their movement is sudden, their purpose is ancient. they build new islands, new soils, new homes for life. They remind us that stone is not lifeless. It is alive, shifting, changing, becoming. If we imagine a civilization of mountains, then volcanoes are its storytellers, speaking in bursts. Their voices deep and powerful, their words reshaping the very face of Earth. Now, let us think of time. The stone civilization does not measure days or years. It moves in millions of years. A mountain range rises, an ice age passes. A valley is carved, pushed to stone. A century is but a moment, a blink. If we could slow ourselves enough to match this rhythm, we might see their conversations, their gatherings, their patient unfolding. But to us, they appear still, unmoving. Perhaps that is their wisdom, to teach us the power of waiting, of being, of lasting. Breathe slowly now, in and out. Imagine your body as a mountain, your spine rising like a peak, your breath flowing like wind across slopes, your stillness becoming part of the stone. Bid itself. There is peace here. There is safety. There is the reminder that time is vast, and we are only passing through. And so we ask, what if the first civilization was not made of flesh, or fin, or leaf, but of stone? What if the mountains were the first rulers, their peaks the first monuments, their valleys the first pathways? What if the very earth beneath us has always been the oldest society, shaping everything that came after? The stones do not hurry. They do not seek recognition. They simply endure. And perhaps that endurance is their gift, their legacy. Now, as we step gently away, the mountains remain behind us, eternal in their silence. Their peaks fade into distance, their valleys into shadow. But ahead, a new horizon opens. Not water, not trees, not air, not stone, but something more mysterious. Something that comes not from earth, but from the stars. For beyond the mountains, in the dark sky above, the cosmos waits. And perhaps the first civilization was not of this world at all. Asterisk. The mountains fade behind us now. Their peaks dissolve into shadow, their valleys quiet and still. And above, the sky opens once more. Darkness spreads wide, vast and endless. Stars shine softly, scattered across the velvet black. Some glimmer faintly, distant and small. Others blaze brighter, steady and near. We stand beneath them, gazing upward, and it feels almost as though we are looking at a city not torn earth, but stretched across the heavens. Imagine the night sky as a great civilization, each star a home, a beacon, a life, each constellation a neighborhood, a gathering, a story. The Milky Way itself, an immense highway of light, a river flowing endlessly through space. We may think of stars as silent, as still, but in truth, they are alive with motion. They burn, they pulse, they move across the galaxy. They live long lives, some lasting billions of years. And when their lives end, they give birth to new stars, new worlds, new possibilities. Is this not a cycle, of civilization, an endless community of light, creating and recreating itself. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine drifting upward into the night. The air grows thin, then vanishes. The earth falls away beneath you. Soon you are surrounded only by stars. Here, silence reigns, but it is not empty silence. It is a silence filled with presence, filled with meaning. Each star you pass is like a great fire, ancient and vast. Some are young, glowing blue and fierce. Others are old, burning red, soft and fading. Each one holds within it the memory of time itself. Now, imagine these stars as voices. Perhaps they speak not with sound, but with light. Their pulses, their flares, their rhythms may be a kind of language, a language written across the darkness, meant for those who can listen with patience. Some stars pulse in regular beats, steady as a drum. Others flicker unpredictably, flashing messages we cannot yet decode. Perhaps these patterns are conversations. Perhaps they are stories. Perhaps they are the first songs of the cosmos, the civilizations of earth, seas, forests, winds, stones. All unfold within time as we know it, but the civilization of the stars moves in a different rhythm. A star's life may last billions of years. Its birth, growth, and eventual fading are far beyond human scale. Yet within that scale, meaning unfolds. A star may nurture worlds around it. Planets may form, oceans may rise, life may awaken. And when the star eventually dies, it gives itself back to the universe, scattering elements that will one day create new stars, new worlds, new lives. If civilization means continuity, memory, and legacy, then stars themselves are the greatest civilization of all. Picture the constellations above you now. Orion, with his belt of 3 stars. The Great Bear, stretching across the northern sky. The Southern Cross, shining in the dark of the southern hemisphere. Humans have always seen stories in these shapes. But what if the stars themselves have their own stories? What if the patterns we notice are part of a greater design, one written not for us, but by the stars themselves? Consider also the galaxies, each one a vast city of light, containing billions of stars, spirals, ellipses, clusters, all drifting slowly through the universe. When galaxies meet, they merge, their stars mingling, their shapes changing. These are gatherings on the grandest scale, civilizations meeting, blending, becoming something new. The night sky is not just decoration, it is history, unfolding in silence. It is civilization, written in starlight. Breathe slowly now, as though breathing with the stars, in and out. Each breath connects you to them. The oxygen you breathe was once forged in the heart of a star, by the iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones, the carbon in your body, all of it born in the furnaces of distant suns. This is the deepest connection of all, that you, too, are part of the civilization of stars. Not separate, but belonging. Not apart, but kin. And so we ask, What if Earth's first civilization was not of Earth at all? What if the stars themselves were the first? And what if we are only a continuation of their story, carrying their light within us? The thought is not unsettling. It is calming, like resting beneath a sky filled with endless companions. For even in the deepest night, we are never truly alone. Now, slowly, we will descend again. The stars remain above, patient and eternal, but our gaze returns to the earth below. We see seas glimmering under moonlight, forests stretching like shadows, mountains resting in silence. And ahead, we notice another realm of civilization, not of stars, nor stone, nor wind, but of creatures small, many, and endlessly busy. For just as the stars form galaxies, so to do the smallest beings. Bar and earth form their own vast societies. We are about to step into the world of insects, the civilization of ants, bees, and countless others. A civilization of cooperation on the tiniest scale. Asterisk, the stars linger behind us, vast and eternal. But now, our eyes lower, toward the ground, beneath our feet. At first, it seems still. A stretch of soil, a patch of grass, perhaps a fallen leaf. And yet, if we look closer, we see movement, small, constant, purposeful. The ground is alive with activity. We have entered the civilization. Above insects. Imagine kneeling down, brushing aside the grass, and watching carefully. Tiny ants march in perfect lines. Each one carries something, a crumb, a leaf, a fragment many times its size. They move together, never colliding, never lost. Their paths weave like roads in a great city. This is not chaos. This is structure. This is order. A society of the smallest kind. Yet perhaps the most ancient ant colonies are vast. Beneath the soil lies a labyrinth of tunnels, chambers, and halls. Some chambers are nurseries, filled with eggs and larvae. Others are storerooms, stacked with food. Each ant knows its role. Some dig, some defend, some care for the young, some forage far away. Together, they form a civilization that thrives, without a single word spoken. Instinct, scent, and touch guide them. A network as complex in its way as any city built by humans. Now look to the bees. In fields of flowers, they dart from bloom to bloom. Each one gathers nectar, carrying it home to the hive. Within the hive, a golden world hums with purpose. Wax combs stretched like perfect architecture. Cells filled with honey gleam like tiny jars of sunlight. Bees fan their wings to regulate temperature, to keep the hive just right. Others guard the entrance. Others dance, yes, dance, to tell their sisters where to find flowers. This dance is language, a shared map, drawn not in ink, but in movement. It tells distance, direction, and abundance. It is a poem written in the air. If civilization is communication, then the bees have mastered it. Consider also the termites. In warm places, their mounds rise like towers, some taller than a human being. Within these structures, chambers spiral, Vents breathe, pathways twist in endless design. The mound regulates air, temperature, and moisture, an engineering marvel, built grain by grain dot. And yet, termites do not plan with blueprints. They follow simple cues, each adding its part. Together, they create vast architecture. Together, they live as one dot. It is easy to overlook insects because of their size. But imagine, for a moment, that we could shrink ourselves down. Imagine walking through an ant city, tunnels stretching like subway lines. Imagine climbing into a hive, golden honeycombs, glowing like cathedral windows. Imagine standing beneath a termite tower, its walls breathing like the lungs of a living being. Suddenly, we see that civilization does not need tall buildings or loud voices. It can exist quietly beneath our feet, in miniature worlds of astonishing order. And what of the butterflies? Their societies are not bound to one place, but to migration. Monarch butterflies, fragile as paper, travel thousands of miles across continents. They follow paths they have never flown before, guided by instincts inherited from generations past. When they rest, they gather in clusters, thousands upon thousands clinging to branches, wings closed like folded fans. This too is a civilization, not of tunnels, not of towers, but of journeys. A civilization of movement, of trust in the unseen path. Insects are among the oldest beings on Earth. Long before humans walked, they were here. Long before mammals, long before flowers even. Insects had already found their place. They have witnessed the rise and fall of countless ages, and still they thrive. Perhaps their civilization is the truest definition of endurance. Not grand, not dramatic, but steady. A quiet persistence woven into every corner of the world. Breathe slowly now, in and out. Notice how the rhythm of your breath matches the hum of a hive, the steady march of ants, the patient work of termites. There is no hurry, only steady purpose, unfolding in silence. And as you breathe, imagine yourself resting within one of these insect cities. Warmth all around, the soft vibration of wings, the gentle scent of earth, honey, grass, safe, small, and part of something larger. So what if Earth's first civilization was not human, not even large or loud or visible at a glance, but tiny, countless, and always beneath our feet? What if ants and bees, termites and butterflies were the true first architects, the true first storytellers of structure and community? It is possible, and it is beautiful. Now, as we rise again from the soil, we leave these miniature worlds behind. The ants continue their work, the bees continue their dance, the termites continue their endless building, the butterflies continue their journey dot and ahead. We see another kind of civilization, not of the ground, not of the sky, but of the waters once more. But this time, not the oceans. This time, it is the rivers, the lakes, the wetlands, the flowing waters that weave play through the land, nourishing everything in their path. A civilization of rivers awaits us next. Asterisk, Listen closely. Do you hear it? The quiet murmur of water moving over stones, the soft lapping at a shoreline, the endless rhythm of rivers and lakes. Water has always been the heart of life, and where water flows, civilizations of every kind awaken. Imagine standing at the edge of a river. The surface gleams with moonlight, shimmering silver. Beneath, currents swirl and carry secrets downstream. Each droplet is on a journey, one that may last days, months, even centuries. The river does not rush, it simply continues, patiently carving valleys, quietly shaping plains. Without fanfare, the river creates worlds. This is civilization in liquid form, not of stone or soil, but of flow and rhythm. Along its banks, reeds sway gently. Dragonflies hover, their wings catching sunlight like stained glass. Frogs croak, turtles slip silently into the water, and fish dart through hidden channels. The river is not only a body of water, it is a gathering place, a meeting ground for countless lives. Civilization here means community, and the community of the river is vast. Now picture a great lake. Its waters stretch so far that the horizon disappears in a haze. The air is cooler here, the world quieter. Beneath the surface, fish move in schools, entire nations of shimmering tilver. Some lakes are so old, so deep, that they hold species found nowhere else on Earth. In their depths, ancient stories sleep. Fossil remains settle in the mud. Generations of life cycle, layer upon layer, like pages in a book. The lake does not rush. It waits. It holds. It remembers. If rivers are the messengers, lakes are the keepers of memory. And then there are wetlands, marshes, swamps, deltas, places where water lingers, neither land nor sea, but something in between. These are the breathing lungs of the earth. Here, grasses rise high, birds nest by the thousands, frogs call through the night. The air is thick with life. Wetlands are balanced civilizations of balance. Every creature plays a role. Every reed, every droplet, every ripple contributes to the whole. For humans, rivers and lakes have always been sacred. The earliest cities were built on their banks. The Nile, the Ganges, the Yangtze, the Tigris, the Euphrates, all have been called the cradles of civilization. But what if they were civilizations in themselves? Not just the stage for human life, but living, breathing societies of water. Imagine a civilization of currents, each one a pathway. Imagine tributaries as roads, confluences as meeting places, waterfalls as gateways. Imagine lakes as councils gathering places where waters from mountains, forests and skies come together to rest. The rivers and lakes are not silent. They speak in ripples, in waves, in endless repetition. Their voices are soft, but they have been speaking for millions of years. Close your eyes, if you like. Listen to your breath, in and out, just like the river, just like the lake, just like the endless cycle of rain, stream, and sea. You are part of this flow. You always have been. And so we ask again, what if Earth's first civilization was not human at all, but rivers and lakes, shaping life with every curve and current, civilizations of patience, civilizations of movement, civilizations of quiet endurance. Now, as we drift with the current, the waters carry us onward. The rivers stretch further, winding through forests, through valleys, into deltas that spread like open hands. The lakes reflect the stars, becoming mirrors of the heavens. The wetlands breathe, their reeds swaying like gentle voices, and then the sound of water softens. The current slows. The land ahead rises dry and firm. The flow of water gives way to the stillness of stone. We arrive at a new kind of civilization, not of rivers, not of forests, not of insects or stars, but of mountains, silent, steadfast, older than time itself. The civilization of stones awaits us next. The river quiets, the soft ripples fade, and before us rises something older, larger, and deeper than water. Mountains, vast, unmoving, the earth's bones revealed. Imagine standing in a valley at dawn. The first light touches the peaks, painting them gold. The air is thin, cool, and perfectly still. There is no rushing here, no flowing current, only presence, only endurance. The mountains have always been here, watching, waiting, breathing slowly in the language of stone. Civilizations often think of themselves as builders of permanence, but mountains were the first to show what permanence means. Their shapes tell stories of upheaval, of folding, of fire from beneath the earth's crust. Yet to the eye they appear calm, eternal, unshaken. Mountains are not merely landforms, they are archives. Every layer of rock is a page, every mineral vein a sentence, every fossil a memory. If you listen, mountains speak in silence. Their civilization is one of patience beyond imagining. Think of the Himalayas, where snow caps glisten like crowns, or the Andes, ridged like the spine of the continent, or the Appalachians, rounded and gentle with age. Each range is a different era in Earth's memory, some young and jagged, some softened by the passing of uncounted years. Their peaks touch clouds, their valleys cradle rivers, their slopes are home to forests, meadows, and creatures who move quietly among the rocks. Every mountain is a city in stone. Every boulder, every ridge, every cavern, a dwelling place in this civilization. High above the tree line, life is sparse. Lichens cling to rocks, snow drifts and hardens into ice. Winds whistle across ridges. This is the stillness of the high world. It is here that mountains hold their councils, silent, vast gatherings, peaks speaking to peaks across great distances. Lower down, foothills soften, grasslands stretch. Streams emerge from springs, beginning their journey back to the rivers and lakes below. It is here, in these foothills, that mountain civilization touches the world gently. Stone is not silent. It holds vibration. When the earth shifts, stone rumbles. When thunder strikes, mountains echo. Even when all seems still, there is a low hum in the rocks, a voice so slow that only time itself can hear it. And what of caves deep within? They are the mountain's inner chambers, cathedrals of stone, carved by water drop by drop. Stalactites grow downward, stalagmites reach upward, meeting in slow embraces that may take thousands of years. Here, in the cool darkness, the mountain dreams. Human cultures have always turned to mountains for guidance. They are seen as sacred places, closer to the heavens, places of pilgrimage, of retreat, of vision. But what if they are more than symbols? What if they are civilizations themselves, ancient nations of rock, speaking to one another across the continents? Imagine the Alps speaking softly with the Rockies. Imagine the deserts, mesas exchanging whispers with the peaks of New Zealand. Imagine all the mountains connected beneath the surface, a network of stone that stretches across the whole earth. It is a civilization not of movement, but of stillness, not of speech, but of resonance, not of growth and decay, but of endurance. Now take a slow breath, in and out. Let the steadiness of mountains settle within you. Feel the ground beneath you, solid and unwavering. Like the mountains, you are steady. Like the mountains, you endure. And yet, even stone gives way to time. Mountains rise, but they also crumble. They are worn by wind, softened by rain, carried away grain by grain. This too is their civilization, the patience of change, the acceptance of impermanence. What is a mountain today may be a valley tomorrow. What is a peak may one day be sand upon the shore. In this endless cycle, stone returns to water, and water to stone again. Civilization continues, informs that change but never truly vanish. As we rest in the shadow of these ancient ranges, we prepare to move once more. For beyond mountains, higher even than their snowy crowns, lies another civilization, one that stretches above us, vast and boundless. The civilization of the skies born, of clouds and winds, of the endless blue, a world that drifts and dances, always changing, yet always present. Let us lift our gaze now and step softly into the civilization of air. Asterisk above the mountains, where stone yields to space. Another civilization waits. The sky, vast, gentle, ever moving. It is easy to think of the sky as empty, a blank canvas, a backdrop to the earth. But the truth is softer, richer, more alive. The sky is a world of its own, a civilization without walls, without borders, without end. Picture, if you will, a wide horizon. Dawn begins quietly. The light spills gently, pale gold unfolding across the heavens. Clouds drift like caravans, moving with purpose yet never hurried. This is the way of the sky, patient, graceful, unbound. The civilization of the skies has no fixed shape. It is born anew each morning, reshaped with every breath of wind. Clouds form, dissolve, reform. A constant cycle of appearance and disappearance. A rhythm of impermanence, teaching us that change can be as soft as drifting mist. There are many kinds of clouds, each a citizen of this airy nation. High above, thin cirrus strands stretch like delicate brush strokes, tracing the invisible winds. They are the messengers, carrying whispers of weather yet to come. Lower down, puffy cumulus clouds float like islands of cotton, casting gentle shadows on fields and forests. They are the gatherers, offering shade, carrying water, promising rain. And sometimes the sky holds vast layered sheets of gray stratus clouds, calm and steady. They are the quiet ones, blanketing the world, softening the sun, reminding us that stillness has its place. Within this civilization, clouds are not alone. Winds are their companions, the invisible currents that guide their journeys. The air moves gently, sometimes so softly we hardly notice. Other times it sweeps across plains and seas, carrying scents, songs, and seeds. Birds join this community too, gliding on unseen roads of air. They are like travelers, weaving paths through the civilization of skies, guided by instinct, by stars, by memory. The sky changes not just by the day, but by the hour, by the minute. Look once, and it is pale blue with drifting shapes. Look again, and it has deepened, softened, transformed. The civilization of clouds is never the same, yet it is always itself at sunset. The skies bloom with colors, pinks, oranges, purples, golds, as if the whole atmosphere is painting one last mural before sleep. At night, the clouds sometimes part, revealing stars beyond measure. Other times, they glow softly in the silver light of the moon. Even darkness cannot erase this civilization, for the sky at night is not empty. It is filled with constellations, with stories, with galaxies turning slowly, endlessly. There is a gentleness in knowing that no sky repeats itself. Every sunrise, every formation of clouds, every twilight display, unique, unrepeatable, a fleeting masterpiece. And yet, though it is always changing, the sky never leaves us. It is always there, wrapping the earth, sheltering us, reminding us of vastness and freedom. What kind of civilization is this? It is one without permanence, yet full of presence. A culture of motion, where beauty comes from letting go. Clouds do not resist the wind. They drift, they dissolve, they return. Their wisdom is one of release. Take a slow breath now, in and out. Feel the air that moves within you, the same air that swirls in the skies above. You are part of this civilization too. Every breath connects you to it, an exchange between your body and the wide open sky. In many traditions, the sky has been seen as divine, a place of gods, of dreams, of limitless possibility. And perhaps it is. Perhaps the civilization of clouds and winds is not just a backdrop, but a teacher, inviting us to be light, to let go, to move freely with life's currents. As we drift further, imagine yourself lying beneath a sky of soft white shapes. The air is cool. The world feels wide, Clouds above you stretch and shift, slow as thought, gentle as breath. You watch them form stories, a mountain here, a bird there, a wave, a tree, a face. Shapes appear, linger, vanish. It is a language written in motion, a story told in silence. This is the gift of the skies, to remind us that beauty does not need to last to be real. It only needs to be for a moment, for a breath, for a gaze turned upward in wonder. Now, as day turns toward dusk in this story, the skies begin to fade. Clouds stretch thinner, colors deepen, stars prepare to emerge. The civilization of the skies yields to another, one older still, one greater still. For beyond the air, beyond the blue, beyond the clouds and winds, lies the endless realm of the cosmos, the civilization of stars, the vast ocean of night. And so, with quiet steps, we move onward, from the drifting clouds above us, to the infinite galaxies beyond. Asterisk, when the sky darkens, when the last glow of sunset dissolves, a new civilization awakens. The stars, ancient, silent, endless. Night is not empty. It is filled with light, countless points, each one distant, each one enduring. Together, they form a vast community, a civilization of fire and silence spread across the universe. For thousands of years, people have looked upward and wondered. The stars were guides for travelers, storytellers for dreamers, companions for those awake in the quiet hours. But what if they were more than distant suns? What if they were themselves a civilization not merely scattered, but connected? Imagine the night sky as a great city, its streets formed of constellations. Each cluster of stars is like a neighborhood, its patterns traced by ancient imagination. Orion, strong and steady. Lyra, delicate and musical. The Great Bear, slowly circling around the pole. To those who first looked up, these patterns were stories. To us, they can also be seen as connections. The architecture of a civilization too vast to measure. Stars are not alone. Around them orbit worlds, some with moons, some with rings, some with oceans perhaps unknown to us. Each star is a sun, and each sun a home. A single light above may be the heart of a system, alive with motion, alive with possibility. Together, billions upon billions of stars form galaxies, and galaxies themselves gather in clusters, flowing like rivers of light across the cosmos. Everywhere, order and rhythm, an unspoken harmony. A civilization not of noise, but of quiet design. The night sky moves slowly, almost imperceptibly. Stars rise in the east, drift across the heavens, and set in the west. Their motion is steady, patient, without hurry. It is as if the entire sky is breathing, a vast rhythm of light and shadow, guiding the turning earth. Look long enough, and constellations shift with the seasons. The same stars that mark summer evenings will fade into winter mornings. The great dome of night is never still, yet it always returns. This slow movement, this quiet repetition, feels like the heartbeat of the cosmos. Within this civilization, light itself is the messenger. Every twinkle is ancient. The light of a star may have traveled for hundreds, thousands, or millions of years to reach your eyes tonight. When you gaze upward, you are looking not just into space, but into time. Each star is a story already told, its message whispered across the vast dark sea. And yet, despite the distance, they shine together. From Earth, they seem near, side by side, woven into shapes and patterns. A reminder that even separation cannot erase connection. There is a calmness in knowing the stars endure. Mountains may rise and fall, seas may shift, civilizations may appear and fade, but the stars remain. For millions of years they have shone, and for millions more they will. To lie beneath them is to rest in the company of eternity. The night sky is not only distant, it is also close, reflected in the quiet places of Earth. A still lake mirrors the stars, making them appear within reach. A desert, vast and open, becomes a second sky upon the sand. The ocean carries their shimmer in its waves, scattering them across the surface like living jewels dot everywhere. The stars are doubled, echoed, woven into the fabric of Earth, as above, so below. The civilization of stars is not separate from us, but joined in reflection. Take a slow breath now. Inhale, exhale. Let your mind drift outward, as though it too is a star, glowing quietly in the night. You are small, yes, but not alone. You are part of this greater pattern, one point of light within an endless constellation of life. At times, the stars are hidden. Clouds may pass, the moon may rise, or city lights may dim their glow. But even when unseen, they are there, always present, always shining, always waiting to be remembered. This is their gift, constancy. The stars remind us that even in darkness, there is always light. Even in silence, there is always connection. Even in stillness, there is always motion, slow, steady, eternal. As night deepens, the stars grow brighter. The Milky Way stretches across the sky, a river of light flowing from horizon to horizon. Each grain of that shimmer is a sun. Each sun, perhaps, with its own worlds, its own stories, its own mysteries. The scale is too vast to hold, yet strangely comforting. For in such immensity, the smallness of our lives feels gentle, peaceful, safe. And so the stars guide us into rest. They do not demand attention. They simply shine, softly, steadily, without end. To watch them is to feel time slow, thoughts quiet, and the body sink toward stillness. Soon, the stars themselves will lead us further, beyond the visible sky, deeper into the cosmos, toward galaxies without number, toward a night so vast it feels like a dream. But for now, we linger beneath them, wrapped in their glow, listening to their silence, resting in their ancient, eternal company. The night sky, as vast as it feels, is only the beginning. Each star is a sun, Each cluster of stars forms a galaxy, and galaxies themselves are the grandest neighborhoods of all. Immense cities of light drifting through the endless dark. Imagine a galaxy, a spiral turning slowly, arms unfurling across unimaginable distances. Billions upon billions of stars, each one glowing, each one holding its own possibilities. At the center, a quiet gravity binds it all, keeping the stars in gentle orbit. The spiral moves not in haste, but in patience, a slow dance that takes hundreds of millions of years to complete a single turn. Galaxies are not alone. They move in families, in clusters, in threads of light that weave the universe together. The Milky Way, our home, is just one among many, joined by Andromeda, the Magellanic Clouds, and countless more. Together they form a great gathering, drifting, colliding, and merging over eons. A civilization not bound by a planet, not bound by a star, but stretching across cosmic rivers. To gaze upon galaxies is to see the universe's handwriting. They are shapes drawn by gravity and time spirals, ellipses, irregular smudges of light. Each shape is unique, yet all are connected by the same quiet forces. From afar, they look delicate, like soft brushstrokes on black canvas. Yet each one contains more stars than a person could count in a lifetime. It is humbling to know that what seems small through a telescope is in truth beyond measure. A tiny glow in the distance might hold more suns, more worlds than all we have ever known. If stars are the letters of the universe, galaxies are its words. They gather meaning in their form, in their connection, in the way they drift together in harmony. And when we look at the great web of galaxies, we see sentences flowing, endless, infinite. A language written not for us, yet visible to us. A language of light. Within this grand civilization, time itself feels different. Galaxies collide not with violence, but with grace. Their stars rarely touch. Instead, their shapes merge and blend, creating new spirals, new patterns, new beginnings. The process takes billions of years, moving at a pace beyond imagination. It is not a clash, it is a meeting, a slow embrace of light. In this way, galaxies remind us that change need not be sudden. It can be patient, it can be calm. The universe is always shifting, but never in haste. The Milky Way, our galaxy, holds its own gentle rhythm. It is a barred spiral, arms stretching outward, filled with dust, stars, and drifting nebulae. Our sun is but one of billions, circling quietly, taking hundreds of millions of years to complete a single orbit. The galaxy is our home in a larger sense, not just Earth, not just the solar system, but the greater sea of stars around us. And even this is only part of something larger. Our galaxy and Andromeda are moving slowly toward one another. In several billion years, they will meet, merging into a new shape, a new home, a new design. A future already written in motion, but so slow it feels eternal. Galaxies may seem far beyond us, yet they also feel familiar. The swirl of a spiral resembles seashells, hurricanes, the gentle curves of flowers. The arcs of their arms echo the shapes of rivers, storms, and tides. It is as though the patterns of the universe are reflected in the smallest forms of life. To look upon a galaxy is to recognize something we have always known, that we, too, are shaped by spirals, by cycles, by quiet repetitions. Our breath, our heartbeat, our seasons, all moving in the same patient rhythm. At night, when you see the Milky Way stretching across the sky, you are looking into this civilization of galaxies. Not just one cluster of stars, but the vast flow of countless suns, their light blending into a soft band. It is the river of our galaxy shining above, reminding us of our place in something vast. The sight is timeless. Long before cities, long before written history, people lay on the ground and watched the same glow. They told stories about it, called it the path of souls, the river of heaven, the spine of night. Different names, same wonder. The galaxy has always been there, quiet, steady, guiding dreams. Take a moment now. Imagine yourself floating not above the earth, not above the stars, but within a galaxy itself, surrounded on all sides by rivers of light, each point a sun, each sun with its own orbiting worlds. Everywhere, quiet motion. Everywhere, patience. You drift slowly, as though carried by a cosmic tide. No rush, no destination, simply belonging to the great sweep of light in the silence of the universe. Galaxies are the great gatherings, not solitary, but communal, not brief, but enduring. They hold the story of creation and the promise of continuity. They remind us that even in vastness there is order. Even in emptiness there is connection. And as your thoughts slow, as your breath softens, you may feel yourself part of this greater design. Be a single moment in the long flow of galaxies, a spark of light within the endless civilization of the cosmos. We've wandered through galaxies, and now we drift even further, not into space, but into something more subtle, into time itself. A civilization not of matter, but of moments. Asterisk time. It is always with us, invisible, quiet, and constant. Though we cannot touch it, we live entirely within it. Every breath, every heartbeat, every sunrise and moonrise belongs to its flow. And so we may wonder, what if the very first civilization was not of beings, not of stone, nor of stars, but of time itself? A kingdom without walls, a society without bodies, a presence woven only of moments, patiently unfolding. Imagine time as a vast ocean. Its waves are the days, its tides are the seasons, its deep currents are the ages and eras that move silently beneath. Every creature, every mountain, every river is carried along by its flow. And yet the ocean of time is never hurried. It does not crash. It does not rush. It only continues endlessly, without beginning or end. If civilizations are measured by their endurance, then time is the oldest, the wisest, the most enduring of all. We mark time in hours and minutes, but nature marks it in gentler ways. in the opening of flowers with the morning sun, in the quiet retreat of shadows across an afternoon, in the steady arc of the moon across the sky. These are the clocks of the earth, whispering the rhythm of days long before we measured them. The rise and fall of tides, the migration of birds, the circling of planets, each one is a verse in the poem of time. It is a civilization not of cities, but of cycles, not of walls, but of rhythms. Picture time as an ancient council. Each age, each era, each epoch sits together, speaking not in words, but in silence. The time of rivers, the time of mountains, the time of galaxies, all gathering, all present, all patient. This is a civilization without haste. Its only purpose is to continue. Its only law is change. And within that change, there is calm, for nothing is lost, only transformed. Time holds memory. The rocks remember in their layers. The trees remember in their rings. The stars remember in their light, traveling across space for millions of years before it reaches our eyes. In this way, time is a great library, shelving moments one after another, endlessly. Every heartbeat, every raindrop, every flicker of starlight is stored within its pages. And though we may think of time as passing, perhaps it is more accurate to see it as remaining. Each moment still exists, simply placed gently behind us, while the next one comes forward. Consider the slowness of time when measured by mountains. A stone cliff does not hurry to a road. A glacier does not rush to carve its valley. They move at a rhythm far beyond us, yet entirely within the patience. By now. Think of the quickness of time when measured by a butterfly. Its days are precious and few. Its wings carry it through a short summer dance, a fleeting note in the symphony of years. Both belong to the same civilization. Both are embraced by the same ocean. Time does not prefer one pace or another. It holds them all, and so we may see ourselves as members of this quiet order. Our lives are seasons within seasons. We are born, we grow, we change. Each of us a single chapter in time's vast chronicle. We join for a while, we contribute our story, and then we gently return to the flow. Time continues. The civilization endures. There is comfort in knowing that time is always steady. No matter what unfolds within it, the river continues to move forward. It does not falter, it does not rush, it simply flows. And as we listen now, as we breathe slowly and evenly, we may feel ourselves floating upon that gentle current, our thoughts slowing, our body sinking deeper into stillness, as though time itself were carrying us. Imagine now that time is a city, not built of stone, but of moments. Each second is a street. Each hour is an avenue. Each day is a wide square filled with soft light. We walk through this city at a calm pace. Every step brings us to a new corner. Every breath carries us farther along the avenue, and there is no need to hurry. The city has no end. Bays the streets continue forever. This is the civilization of time, expansive, eternal, endlessly unfolding. When we look at the stars, we are looking into the past. The light that reaches us tonight began its journey long ago. Some of it left its home before Earth even formed. In this way, we are always surrounded by ancient moments, still arriving, still glowing. Time is not only forward-moving, it is all directions at once, a sphere of memory and possibility. To exist within it is to belong to a vast, unbroken continuity. And so, as this section drifts to its close, let us linger in this quiet thought. Time itself may be the first and oldest civilization, one that requires no walls, no borders, no rulers. A civilization we all belong to, simply by being. The clock of stars continues its patient rhythm. The ocean of days continues its steady tide. And you, listening now, are part of this same vast design. Rest gently in it, float in its stream. Allow yourself to be carried by its unbroken flow. Asterisk, we've wandered through oceans, stars, and even time itself. Now the pace softens further, into something even quieter, into silence itself, a civilization without sound, yet endlessly alive. Asterisk, silence. It is often thought of as emptiness, as the absence of sound. But in truth, silence is full. It carries its own presence, its own weight, its own ancient wisdom. And so we may wonder, what if the very first civilization was silence itself, a kingdom of stillness, a society where nothing is spoken, and yet everything is known? Picture, if you will, a world before voices, before echoes, before words. A world where mountains stood in perfect quiet, where seas rippled gently without roar, where stars shone in the dark without a whisper. This was not emptiness. This was fullness, a deep, living hush, a vast realm where silence reigned as the first and oldest order. Silence has always been here. It is beneath the hum of the wind. It is beneath the murmur of rivers. It is beneath the voices of people, animals, and trees, always present, patiently waiting for us to notice. It is the space between heartbeats, the pause between breaths, the moment just before dawn, when the world holds still, and the air feels ancient and clear. These are the temples of silence, hidden in plain sight. If silence were a civilization, its architecture would not be of stone, poor wood, but of pauses and spaces. Its walls would be soft shadows. Its towers would be still skies. Its streets would be paths of gentle calm, leading always inward, deeper into stillness. And its citizens would be not people, but moments of peace. Each pause, each quiet, each hush, a resident of this invisible world. Silence is not nothingness. It listens, it remembers, it receives. When we fall quiet, we can feel it surrounding us, almost as though it were alive. In silence, we hear more, not less. The subtle shift of air, the gentle pulse of our own breath, the soft rhythm of life, continuing all around us. Silence reveals what sound can sometimes hide. Imagine a great library, But instead of shelves of books, it holds only stillness. No words, no voices, no noise, only vast chambers of calm. Yet within that calm is the essence of all knowledge, resting patiently, waiting to be understood. This is the library of silence. It does not rush, it does not speak, but it holds more wisdom than any volume. When we sit in silence, we become part of its civilization. We join its people, the pauses, the hushes, the rests. We stand in its halls, and it welcomes us gently, without question, without judgment. It does not ask us to do. It only asks us to be. Nature, too, belongs to this quiet order. Think of the silence of snow, how the world grows soft and muted beneath its touch, each flake a citizen of stillness, settling into place, building a vast kingdom of white calm. Or the silence of a desert night, the air cool and unmoving, the stars bright and endless, the world holding its breath. This is silence in its purest form, endless, ancient, complete. Even sound itself rests in silence. Like a guest visiting a quiet home, sound enters for a moment, and then it departs. But silence remains, always waiting, always present, the eternal host. And so we may see silence as the foundation of all civilizations. Every word, every song, every echo rises from it, and when they fade, they return to it. Perhaps this is why silence feels so healing. It does not press upon us. It does not demand. It simply surrounds us, a soft cradle, inviting us to rest. When we let ourselves listen deeply, we find that silence has always been there, patiently carrying us, gently holding us. Now, as you breathe slowly and evenly, you may feel yourself entering this ancient city of silence. Its streets are wide and still. Its air is soft and clear. Its walls are made of calm. You walk here without hurry, without weight, without need. And as you move deeper into this civilization, you notice that you are not apart from it. You are part of it. You are one of its citizens, a quiet presence, a soft stillness, resting within the great silence. Silence is not a void. It is a presence, a companion, the most enduring civilization of all. Before there were voices, it was here. After voices fade, it will remain, and within it, we may always find peace. So let us stay here for a while, not rushing, not speaking, simply resting in this gentle hush. The civilization of silence is eternal, and in its quiet embrace, you may drift peacefully toward rest. Asterisk. Now that we've stepped into silence, the next natural step is to let the silence soften into dreams. A civilization not of waking life, but of drifting visions, where imagination builds its own cities, landscapes, and skies. Asterisk dreams. They come softly, like a mist at the edge of thought. They arrive without invitation, yet always on time. They are not bound by stone, nor by maps, nor by the straight lines of waking reason. Dreams flow, shifting and reshaping, forming vast realms in the silence of night. And so we may wonder, What if the very first civilization on Earth was not built of stone or clay, but of dreams? Close your eyes and imagine this. A civilization existing not in daylight, but in the quiet spaces of sleep. Its walls are woven from memory. Its towers are built from imagination. Its rivers are streams of feeling, soft and luminous, flowing endlessly through the land every night. Its people awaken. Bray are not humans, nor animals, but fragments of thought, shapes of possibility, moving gently through landscapes that shift like clouds. The civilization of dreams does not obey the rules of time. One moment may stretch into hours. An entire journey may pass in the space of a single breath. Dreams do not need clocks, for they follow the rhythm of the heart, the drifting of the mind, the rising and falling of breath. Here mountains float like islands in the sky. Put oceans shimmer with starlight instead of waves. Forests whisper in colors, their leaves humming with quiet light. In this dream civilization, architecture is alive. A house may unfold into a garden. A garden may dissolve into a sea. A sea may rise into the shape of a staircase, leading to a door made of moonlight. And when you step through, you find yourself somewhere entirely new, a city you have never known, yet somehow always remembered. This is how dreams build their world, softly, fluidly, endlessly. The people of this dream civilization are not fixed. They change from moment to moment. One night they may appear as friends or family. The next they may take the shape of strangers. Sometimes they are human, sometimes animal, sometimes only a feeling in the air, a presence that cannot be seen, yet can always be felt. They are not bound by names or roles. They are simply parts of the dream, arising, fading, and returning, as naturally as the tide. Every dream is a journey through this hidden world, and though we often forget the path upon waking, the dream civilization continues without us, its cities unfolding, its rivers flowing, its skies expanding into new possibilities. Each night we return as travelers. We wander its shifting streets. We listen to its silent music. We rest in its strange and gentle beauty. If silence is the library of all wisdom, then dreams are its theater. Here the imagination plays endlessly, telling stories that belong to no single voice, but to all of life itself. Some dreams are soft and tender, like a field of grass waving in twilight. Others are vast and cosmic, like flying through a night sky filled with endless stars. Some are fleeting, a single image, a single breath. Others linger long, as though we lived entire lives in their embrace. The civilization of dreams asks nothing of us. It does not require labor, nor struggle, nor effort. It only asks that we rest, that we allow the mind to wander, to dissolve, to open itself to whatever forms may come. And in this wandering, there is meaning. Dreams are the soft language of the inner world, speaking in symbols instead of words, reminding us that we are more than we remember, more than we imagine. Picture now walking through a dream city. Its streets shimmer like water, its walls glow with a faint, familiar light. The air hums with quiet music, not from instruments, but from the very rhythm of the dream itself. You pass through doors that open into skies. You walk across bridges that vanish into clouds. You enter rooms where time seems to wait patiently, holding still just for you and everywhere you go. You feel the soft warmth of being carried, guided gently by the dream. Dreams connect us all. Every living being, from the smallest creature to the vastest mind, carries its own dreams. Perhaps the first civilization was not a city of stone, but a shared ocean of dreams, where all life met in the quiet of night, gathering together in visions, in images, in stories, and perhaps even now we continue to return to that same ocean. Every time we close our eyes, Now, as you rest here, imagine yourself stepping gently into this dream civilization. You do not need to build anything. You do not need to understand. All you need to do is drift to float softly through its shifting streets. Each breath carries you further in. Each exhale opens another door. The dream welcomes you with its luminous rivers, its sky of endless stars, its quiet companions who walk beside you in silence. Here you are safe. Here you are at peace. Here you belong. The civilization of dreams is endless, and as you drift further into its embrace, you may be yourself carried gently, softly, peacefully, toward the deeper rest that awaits. And so, our journey drifts to a close. We have wandered through civilizations of stone and sea, of stars and silence, of memory and dreams. Each one has been a gentle reminder that the world is wide, and the imagination wider still. Now there is nothing more to explore tonight. Only the quiet of rest. Only the rhythm of your breath, slow and steady. Everything is safe. Everything is still. You may let go now and drift softly into sleep.
you.